Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure. Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle with the ASU strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle with the ASU strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.
Good morning, and welcome to Global Morning, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. This is Global TV. It's a beautiful Sunday morning and a great day to be alive. It's not just any day of the week. Today is a special day. I mean, so special in the life of every woman you know. It is Mother's Day. Yeah, and I am not alone in the studio. I have a very interesting guest. He is a political analyst. Well, more details about him when we come back for the short break. So just stay tuned, relax. It's going to be a beautiful ride with you this morning. See you when we get back. Welcome back. If you are just tuning in, this is Global Morning on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. Like I said before we went on that short break, it is a beautiful day, and today is not like every other day. It's Mother's Day. I am joined in the studio by a very interesting guest. He is none other but Timothy Baba. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So good to have you here.
Good to be here. Thank you.
So let us start off the Global Morning Show celebrating every woman out there. This morning, I am so happy because I have a man here with me, and we will hear from a man's perspective on, how important it is to celebrate mothers. Sir, you're married, of course.
Yes.
So what can you say about a mother? Even if you're not, of course, you have a mother.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you have kids yet?
I'm expectant.
Oh, so you're the perfect guest for today. So what can you say about mothers?
Yeah, mothers, they are a gift for nature. They, they are the bedrock of society. And you can't have a society without having a mother. A mother builds your home. And when you have a good home, you have a good society at large. So it's a good day to celebrate them and to tell them that we love them and we are proud of what they are doing.
Okay, there's this discussion that, goes thus. A lot of people feel like we have so many days to celebrate women, like the female gender. you know, in quotes. But we don't have a lot of, you know, so many days designated or, you know, marked out to, you know, give shout out. I don't know how true that is, but, you know, I see women being celebrated often, you know, more often than not, than the men. And do you think it is okay? Do you think it is worth it? Do you think it should remain that way?
Yeah, you know, the society as it is, the way it was designed, it's, you know, the men, you look at them as people that, when you want to know who a man is, you see it in his wife. You get? So, if you are celebrating a woman, you know that there's a good man that's there. More like you say, behind every successful woman, there is a woman there. If you are celebrating a woman, then you have, she has a good husband. So, men are celebrated through their wives.
Whoa.
Yeah, so you can see, so there's no need for you to be putting days for celebrating.
There's no need for the competition.
Yes, no. Yeah. If you give us that, okay, let the men celebrate the women 365 days, we will.
Wow.
They deserve it.
Are you sure you're speaking for every man out there? I don't know how
the women deserve that.
Okay,
honestly,
so we're deserving of the celebration.
Yes.
And that is not to say we don't have, you know, women in the society that somehow are not repping, let me use the word repping, but then today is marked out specially to celebrate every good woman out there, every mother. It's not easy at all. You know, I stumbled upon a video yesterday on social media. A lady, you know, just portrayed the daily routine a woman goes through. She started with, you know, waking up in the morning, having the children setting the children for school, taking them to school, when they come back, you know, doing the assignment, preparing breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and, you know, like, the list just goes on. And when I saw this video, personally, I could relate, but I couldn't totally relate, because there are good men out there that support their spouses. A lot of people commented under that video saying this is not totally true, while some other women came on that post to say this is my life story, you know, how tiring it can be, exhausting. And then we find men coming to ask the question, what do women bring to the table? You get? But as much as I liked her narrative, I want to believe that it's not a general thing. So I don't know how involved you are in your wife's routine, daily routine as a mother, you know, trying to make the home beautiful. It's a whole lot of responsibilities, and I just feel like I need to hear from a man's perspective.
When they say what do women bring to the table, with all due respect to the Gen Zs, you know, we've not heard of this when we were growing up as kids. You can tell from the way our mothers usually help the home. You understand? Basically, a woman, you can't actually say, okay, what does she? You don't have to even say that. You understand? Because as a man, you might have a house. Let me give you this example. You might have a house as a man. You might have so many rooms there, but you don't even decide where you sleep. You get, because the house is yours, but the home is not yours. The home belongs to the woman. She organizes, she plans, she does everything, she ensures that things are put in place. If a man should do the job of a woman in his house, the man won't be able to even go to work the next day. You understand? But there are women that as early as 5 they are awake, prepare the children for school, prepare the breakfast for the husband, and then they do so many and they have things to attend to. You know, you can't pay women. Just to say, okay, thank you for everything you've been doing for us, but you can't actually pay women.
Interesting. This is going to be a very long conversation, but before we get deep, we're just starting. Because the woman topic, it's a whole lot. But before we dive in, before we get into the depth of that conversation, I would want us to, you know, take a quick look on the papers for today. That would be after this short break. Please don't go nowhere. Stay where you are. We have a lot for you today, like I said. So we'll be back with a newspaper review after the short break. All right, welcome back. If you are just tuning in, this is Global Morning coming to you live on Global Television from the nation's capital, Abuja. We are now on the segment of the newspaper review. Let us see what is happening in the country. So the first news we have today from the newspaper review, I think we would like to take Tribune. Yes, Tribune. So Tribune says, let's start with the main news here that says Northern governors, traditional rulers make U-turn, backs Tinubu's tax reform bills. State police, that is on page 4. Northern governors, on page 9 it says God has revealed 3 persons who can stop Tinubu in 2027. That is coming from Primate Ayodele. And then on page 5 it says here, mass exodus of nurses from Nigeria, other African countries loom, WHO raises alarm. And on page 6 here it says Southwest governors, eminent Nigerians, eulogize PA Fasoranti, and then primary school demands 5,000 naira from students to become head prefects. That is ridiculous. And then we have on page 5 that says you have rights to appeal. Lagos APC says announces winner of the local government election primaries. Page 6 here says Atiku slams EFCC, accuses agency of targeting Tinubu's critics. And on page 4, gunmen kill 23 in fresh attack in Benue State. Interesting. Let's start with this very news that's, talked about northern governors, and traditional rulers making U-turn to back Tinubu's tax reform bills. We have seen, in time past, back and forth about this tax bill. Why would these governors, come all of a sudden to just endorse this? What do you think?
Yesterday the northern governors and the traditional rulers met. They had a meeting yesterday, and they were part of the resolution that they gave after the meeting. They said, okay, there has been this back and forth, and there has been this idea that the tax reform, part of it is like you earn. When you earn more, you generate more.
Okay, that is on this from states.
From states.
Okay.
Yeah, you generate more. There are internal generated revenue, which is IGR, to the federal level. Then they get more allocations. So the northern governors initially said, but we don't have what it takes to generate like states like Lagos, Rivers, Ogun, and the likes, oil producing states. Yeah. They said, but we cannot. So they are saying that if we don't generate more, we will have less. That's the idea they had. But the president looking at it from a point of you being productive. Yeah. For example, a state like Niger State, it has a land mass. So if you go into agriculture, you tend to produce more, you tend to generate more, and then you tend to get more. When you are taxed more, you get more.
That is, you get more allocation.
More allocations, yeah. When you produce more, you pay more tax, and then you get more allocations to do something good. But let me not say, because I know how these things work most times, it could be that they are agreeing with him now because they need probably a favor or for some political ideology, because it might be that they actually looking at the 2027 election. You understand? So let's not dive. It's a economic development that they want to produce more and then support the tax reform, because the president is saying if we want more development, we have to tax people more. But it has not been easy on Nigerians. It has not been easy on Nigerians. But if the state governors to actually put into is what they get, at least it's going to reduce a bit of the hardship Nigerians are facing.
I think it's a very good one from the president and even the governors. Is it to whom much is given, much is required. It's a call for responsibility from every governor. And I like the fact that they, at this point, are embracing whatever their reasons are. It is for the betterment of every Nigerian. So there is, a news here that says mass exodus of nurses from Nigeria, other African countries loom. WHO raises alarm. I know this is not new. It is not new at all. We have heard that we have lost our medical experts, to the whole Japa syndrome. And if care is not taken, we will be left without professional hands. So what do you think, what can you say about this?
It is a sad one because I know people who have actually died because they've not been attended to. You don't have professionals to handle their cases. And the more these things happen, the more our health sector goes into it's a problem for the health sector and even for Nigerians. You can't for you not to have professionals to handle your case, and then there are people that go to hospitals. Have you been to hospital, government hospital before? You see so many things. Someone goes through a CS, there is not anesthesia to actually put the person, so many issues there, and then you are losing your best stuff. And I think part of the reasons why these things are happening is the harsh policy we're experiencing in the country. Number one, the minimum wage is not that good. And then these people, when they go out there, they make more money. And the funny thing is, these guys, their services have been required there more.
Services are required everywhere.
But, and we have few professionals here.
Left?
We
have few professionals left.
From the beginning, we don't even have enough. It's more like the security sector where you have less police. You can imagine you have a population of 200 million people, but you don't have a force of up to 1 million. How do you want to do that?
Okay.
It's very, very difficult. So it's the same thing in the health sector. It's very bad. And if they really want to solve this issue, they should pump money into the health sector. Let's check our budget. How much are we allocating to health sector? Let's take the hospitals. Go to primary health care, they are bad. You can't even do something there. I think it's a very bad one for us. Let them build institutions. Let them put money to the health sector. Let them repair our hospitals. This will help and also increase these people's payment. There have been so many issues on payment and increase the minimum wage is not that bad, but it's not fair.
Okay.
It's not fair.
Okay, so let's move on. This day newspaper says northern governors demand review of security strategies, seek creation of state police. We also have that Ribadu, strong institution, additional change, crucial to win anti-graft war in Nigeria. Hail Tinubu's sustained commitment to tackle security challenges. Governor Sani allays fear on abuse of state police by governors. This is the main headline here that I see is, northern governors demanding review of security strategies and seeking the creation of state police. Do you think this move, creation of state police, would help in any way, better our security, system in this country?
The issue is, how do you sustain state policing? That's what you should ask.
Okay.
The state governors have, recent times, bring vigilantes to probably give them. It's not functioning. State police, before you create anything, you have to think of how do you pay them. But there are some state governors. Okay. To be sincere with you, I think if not for the fact that President Tinubu came and then he increased allocation and then they are now paying salaries, there are state governors that don't actually pay local government and even state staff. They don't pay them salaries. Some they pay them in percentages. Now you are now that salary they don't even do any other thing apart from payment salary. Then you're not bringing state police in. Who pays them?
Exactly. Okay.
And then it's a very good one because there are some states, places like Borno, places like Nigeria, where you have large landmass. You can travel as far as 50-100 kilometers. You will meet a single police post. That's why you can see that these bandits, these they can stay in forest and nobody
gets
and these guys have arms. It will be good to bring in, because this state policing, the people you are employing are people from the state, so they are familiar with the terrain. But the danger there is, like Governor Sani said, of Kaduna said, it might be an issue if a governor can use federal might to intimidate opponents. What will happen to the state policing? That's the issue. Because if a governor can say, you go and arrest this person, and the police, as it is now, it's under the federal government. But if they now create the state police and say, okay, you people are now under my watch, so you can see they will oppress.
There will be some sort of abuse of power.
They will oppress the opponents. So give or take, it's a very good one. But the issue with the average Nigerian politician is that before he gives into a thing, he already knows what he's going to gain. He already knows what he's going to benefit from it. So if they see that they are going to get more from creating of the state police and they are going to have more to intimidate, they might actually go with it. But we have an issue, yes. But can the federal government solve that issue?
But what is the problem? Is it that the federal assigned police officers are not enough?
They're not enough.
Okay.
Like I cited, we have a population of 200 million people, and then you have a police force not up to 1 million personnel. Then if you are going to divide it by the ratio, you see that it's very, very bad. It's very, very bad. So they are not enough. They are not well equipped.
Okay.
They are not well paid.
Okay.
You see.
Okay.
So we know the things some of them do. They are good policemen, but there are so many bad of them. So they are not enough. But I think they should just find a way of bringing this thing. The issue is that we need security.
Yes.
We need security to come into place, but it's also a good one. It's also a good one. If they will find a way of doing. Look at what Ribardo is saying. He said, aside from creating state police, let's have strategies of solving security issues. If you go deep into banditry and these attacks, you have communities that are aiding the criminals. So if we can actually expose those informants and also find a way to tell the people, no, these people are not part of you, expose them.
So the solution basically is by bringing in more hands. For me, not basically having the state police. If we have a federal, because you have also cited the problem of payment of salaries. We don't want a situation where we'd have state police officers that would not be paid. You get, you see governors coming up with excuses of not having enough. And with this new tax reform now, it shows that if you don't do so much, you wouldn't get so much. So we don't want all of these excuses of we have not been allocated so much, that is why we don't have enough money to pay and all of that. So if the federal government is doing a good job on salary payment for these police officers, I think it's a matter of just getting more hands on deck instead of reassigning power somewhere. And I think it will be better controlled from the federal level so that we don't have an abuse of power in the long run.
Yes.
Well, that is my own take though, but let's move on. On Vanguard this morning says, alleged stolen mandates, uncertainty as lawmakers lost by PDP, others rise to 82. That is on page 9, page 26 here says, zoning how the South nearly missed power shift from the North. Sule Lamido revisits Nigeria since 1999 intrigues. And we have on page 5, it says Ekiti ranked first in Nigeria on fiscal transparency. On page 29 here says Deputy Governor's siblings Ogunleweye's son, 53 others emerge APC candidates. Experts to brainstorm on government performance at midterm on page 5. And on page 8 here it says they harass IPOB activities, ignore herdsmen killings. CSOs allege selective law enforcement in South East. On page 6 here it says E.K. Clark can't be replaced. Jonathan Apabio, Lekwood, others pay tribute at service of songs. Let's take on the main on page 9 here that says uncertainty as lawmakers lost by PDP, others rise to 82. There has been news. The whole news has been filled, with the defection of politicians from party moving from the PDP, trooping into the APC. What is the cause of this? What is the cause?
Politics is a game of numbers. It's a game of numbers, and the 2027 is 2 years from now. That's to you.
Okay.
But to the politician, it's like 2 weeks.
Okay.
You know why? Because the moment you win an election, you are looking forward to win the next one. So even before you start sharing the positions, you see, you start looking at strategies. Okay, if I give this person, will this person help me to win the next election?
Wow, okay.
Will this person help me to win the next election?
Interesting.
That's how politicians are. They don't make mistakes. Most times you will think, okay, they make no. They will have sat down, thought of their action before they take them. So for the lawmakers, leaving the PDP.
When you say they don't make mistakes, I think that statement is quite absolute.
No human. They make mistakes in terms of governance at times.
Yes.
But in terms of their calculations, they hardly.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
In terms of their calculation, they hardly make those mistakes because they will have checked. Just at times, when they lose the election, might be some factors that they didn't see that came into play. So when you see these defections, Nigeria as a country, you cannot compare it to the American type of system where you have the Democrats and the Republicans. Ours is just like, once this party can help you win elections, just go there. Just go there. And there are ways. You see governors like Delta, for instance, now. The governor has defected to the APC. Now, if you've been following the trends right from the 2023 elections, there has been this battle in the PDP where they are saying, someone did ATS from the north. You understand? Why did ATS from the north? Let someone from the south be the president. And then they went in from primary. So in the instance there where PDP lost it, there was allowing the ticket to be thrown to everybody to buy for the presidential seat. It's supposed to be just for the southerners.
Okay.
Just the way the APC did.
Okay.
APC said, we are giving it to the south.
Okay. So,
and then the president emerged.
Okay.
So the issue in PDP is they are saying that we don't want, the people that are defecting, they are saying that we don't want someone from the north to contest. So if somebody from the north that seems to be powerful wants to contest 27 elections again, they rather defect to the APC. They won't be in the PDP.
There's been a conflict
in the party
of interest,
yes,
among the members of
the PDP.
These parties. Okay, let's just go on a quick break right now. We will be back with more from the newspaper review. Please stay tuned.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Welcome back. If you are just joining in, this is Global Morning, coming to you on Global Television from the nation's capital, Abuja. We are currently on the segment of the newspaper review, and I have, of course, my guest with me here, Timothy Baba, a political analyst. We have been doing justice to the papers for today. Let's go to the next, a very interesting read I see here. It says, they harass IPOB activities, ignore herdsmen killings, CSOs allege selective law enforcement in the Southeast. That is on page 8. What do you have to say about this? You know, the whole IPOB matter is a very dicey and very, sensitive
the killer,
topic.
the not, whatever you see, however you see it, a crime is a crime. A crime is a crime. And the issue with IPOB is that the government is saying this is something that is from you guys. It's coming from within the communities. You people know this thing. And what are you fighting? What's the agitation? You understand? The issue of the killer, herdsmen, and banditry, they are external forces. So that's the difference between the two.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
That's the difference between the two. The IPOB, okay, you're saying, okay, someone is...
More like we now.
Yes, within the communities,
yeah.
They know the people that are there.
Yes.
But if you read the reports of banditry, Boko Haram, these people don't reside within the society. They come, they infiltrate through our porous borders, and so it's more difficult to tackle them because we have large landmass and so many things that are there. But the IPOB, these guys are people that we are agitating that, okay, someone has been caught for a crime and then the case is still in court. And then, okay, let's finish this case. Let's finish it. And then let's see how it goes. But, so I see no reason why. It's not as if somebody is coming to kill you from an external. I see no reason why all those monies at home and the rest. I see no reason why, because they are the ones losing. If the Northerners, do you know the kind of things that they've gone through from these external infiltrations? So the government is saying, it's not as if they are ignoring the killer herdsmen or but it's the thing is overwhelming.
Yes.
But for the IPOB, they can tackle it because it's within it. Yeah, with all due respect to the southeast, you cannot compare the landmass they have to like 2 states in the north. You understand? So it's more difficult to tackle the killer herdsmen and the banditry and the rest compared to the IPOB issue you have in the southeast.
Okay, I understand your point of view, although Nigeria is a great nation and I feel like there's nothing impossible. If all we need to do is to collaborate with international communities to get this fixed, I think we have what it takes, right?
Collaborate with them at the expense of what?
Actually, it's deeper than we think, right? It's deeper than we think. And then over the course of the week, this news here that says E.K. Clark can't be replaced. Jonathan Akpabio, Lekwood, others pay tribute, at the service of songs. I want to kind of link this to still the defection of parties. I know during the course of the week, former President Goodluck Jonathan was addressing the issue of one-party system with the APC members, PDP members now swamping, going into the APC political party. And Goodluck Jonathan comes out to say, this cannot work. We cannot operate a one-party system. We're not ready for such. What do you have to say about that?
A democracy without opposition is not a democracy.
Exactly.
You understand? You should have opposition. They're the one that check what you do. You get. But the issue we are having with the opposition is that right from 2023, when that issue happened, that someone from the north contested, and they till now they've not known their mistakes. The issue there is that they are greedy. The opposition party, it's greed. If only they will come together and say, okay, now this man has spent 4 years and it's from the south. Let's bring somebody from the south that will contest. They are going to come together. But the problem they are having is that what they are envisaging, what these people that are defecting, what they are seeing in the future is that if we continue like this man that has been contesting has money, he's still going to pick the ticket.
But there are countries, I think is it Tanzania, that has a one political party system.
How have they developed? How have they developed? Because you cannot have a government, a democracy without opposition. But the major issue you are having in the PDP is greed. Is greed, no? And then you are having some infiltrations in Labour Party where you have different functions, and we know that it's politically motivated by some people.
Now, when we say democracy, it appears as though in a country like Nigeria, democracy seemingly is obvious during the elections. Well, maybe in the course of the tenure, we have people coming out to speak against, anomalies and the setbacks. But is it usually listened to? Is it? Does it work? The cries, the outcry from other party members coming out to point out things. Does it work? Is it effective?
One of the things you use to judge the democratic system is the rule of law. Okay. There are people that have gone to courts and they won cases. Okay. They won.
That is another angle.
That's not the angle you're looking at. Okay.
Yeah, that's another angle. I agree with you.
Yes. Yeah. They've gone to courts and they've won. If you go to some countries, you hardly go to court and get justice. But they've gone to courts and they've won. Wow. It seems as if it's failing, but it's not in total failure. No. They've gone to. People have freedom of speech in this country. You get what I'm saying? People have freedom of speech, and they can talk and talk and talk. It's when you go overboard.
Where's the line? How can we draw the line?
It's when you go overboard.
When we say freedom of speech.
If you want to, I've said this for many times. If you want to criticize, let it be constructive.
Okay.
You get, for the fact that you have the freedom to talk doesn't mean that you should insult people when you are criticizing them. It's not supposed to be. If you have any issue, you go. The fact that the system seems failing doesn't mean that it's not working. The system works. There are people there are corrupt cases, people that have some things. You have human rights activists that they talk and the government listens to them. So many things. Just that you cannot have it equal. Okay. You understand? You cannot have it equal. And even when Very Dark Man was he arrested, or how would I put it? When he came out, he said the issues they were saying was money laundering. Money they were charging him for money laundering. So we don't know the truth concerning that. Now, people are saying that the reason why they caught him was because he has been attacking the FCC. But there are so many issues. In a country like Nigeria, in fact, in a country like Nigeria, if you want to criticize, you must come up with a clean hand. You must.
Does anyone really have a clean hand? Is anyone perfect? Is there a perfect being on this earth? Because I kind of, I sat back to think about the whole Very Dark Man's case and all of that. It is expected that somehow, somewhere along the line, they will find something to use to indict him. But nobody is totally. There's no human being without mistake. Now, when we say clean now is relative. But when you become a public figure like this, or you're trying to challenge a narrative, somehow people can come with all sorts of lies. Do you understand? They can magnify things, and you'll be looking at. Have you ever been falsely accused? Have you ever been falsely accused and you cannot defend yourself? You're like, how? When did I do this? And when the crowd becomes so much, when say the forces are more powerful than you are, at some point there's nothing you can do. So that is where constructive criticism, like you said, comes in. If you want to achieve a goal, especially maybe in a government setting like this, you want to be able to change the narrative, there's a way to go about it. If you want to make it work, especially if you know you don't have you have a history that is, questionable one way or the other, there is a way to go about it. Else, you end up losing focus, you end up losing sight of, your mandate. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from. So I practically do not believe that, there is nobody that comes up to say, that can come up to say, I am clean.
Yes.
I can challenge this. You can't do anything to me.
In that situation, it's a system that makes you look dirty, even if you are clean.
Exactly.
The system makes you look dirty because of how you tend to travel out, and then they say you are a Nigerian. They will start having this idea that this person is a criminal. This person is this person.
Naturally.
Now, I feel if we really want the system to work as a people, it must start from us. I feel it must start from us. We have to be sincere in our dealings. We have to show integrity. For instance, the elections are coming. You have to take a stand and say, no, I won't collect money when I'm voting. You understand? You have to say, okay, this system, I go to this place, I will not give bribe. You get what I'm saying? If you have people, 10 people in the plan say, no, then say, I'm not giving bribe, the system will allow you to do what you want to do. But the issue, if you want to fight corruption, you want to fight the bad system we have, it should start from the individuals. You don't just rely on it's the government, it's the people that forms the government.
Okay, let me just cut you there. So there is a past. Everybody has a past. So where is the place of, this is in the past, when I come up, to make a change in my society, and someone starts to reference what I had done 500 years ago, even before, do you understand? Trying to link my generational pattern or drama that played out even before I was born, or even what I had done, a long time ago. And I say I'm a changed person. So where's the place of putting things in the past if we have to remind people of
it's the Nigerian system that made it look that way. But if you are bringing up a case that's against something that is bad, what they should consider is what you are saying, not what you've done.
Okay.
You understand? What they should consider is what this person is saying. Is it saying the truth? Like I was expecting that, okay, since Very Dark Man went to the bank and said, okay, this is the issue. They've been deducting money from his mom's account. They should check. They should ask the bank, why have you been deducting? Anything like maybe ICPC, FCC should go and okay, why? I expect that, okay, this is what they will go and say. Not if they have a case with him, they can take him up. But that the concern he raised, the issue, it should be attended to.
Yes, and it should be publicized.
Yes, if that thing is done, I think Nigeria know, okay, the system is working. He has brought something there, and then they've come to say, okay, this is what and this is bad. But his own issue with them, it's a different issue entirely.
Exactly.
So I think where we used to miss it is that we used to miss the point where someone comes in and says something, and then you now take the person sort of what the person is saying.
Exactly.
You understand? I'm saying, like, okay, by the time we begin to, because the people that are working in FCC, they want this like you and I. They are Nigerians. So if they want the things Nigeria to get better, it has to start from everybody.
Yes. I get your point. Yeah. So address the situation and
not
forget
the
about
person.
the individual.
Yes, address the situation.
Yes, first. They can actually decide to want to address it separately. But that situation he raised, that concern,
that's how the system works.
Exactly. Thank you so much for that. And let's go to the next paper here. This is coming from The Punch. It says PDP governors emergency talks with party bigwigs. Ex-governor members meet state executives in Abuja today. The factors show true character, say Demagun, NWC member. And it also says here on page 6, fresh defections raise APC's National Assembly members to
265. Same issue we're talking about in NERC here. Other discourse to compensate Band A customers. That's a whole lot. Band A customers. It's been a long talk, with Band A and NERC. And here another news here says Nigeria one step away from authoritarian state politics done Prof. Jinadu. On page 22 and 23, it says, fueled by hunger, luxury vehicles owners hit the streets as taxi drivers. Page 25 here says, hospital detained my nephew over 13 million naira bill after Lamata bus crash technician. And on page 24, MVCA 7 doors shine as Femi Adebayo Choma Porter win big. On page 5 says Anambra Lagos lead in UTME malpractice. Interesting. Let's take on that. Let's just take on that. Let us start with the Band A drama that has been going on in the country. We've come to see a lot of Band A, members come to complain of the bills, the tariff.
The bills.
I saw, the media recently, a lady saying she had to relocate. She had to move from her house because of the electricity bill. Like, she gets to pay over 400,000 naira a month. And because of that, her rent had not expired. She had to just get a new house. It was becoming overwhelming. So I think this move from NEC, to compensate Band A members, I don't know how they wish to compensate them. Maybe they would reduce the tariff for,
give them some months of bonuses.
Exactly, I don't know.
The power sector, for Aso Villa to say that we are no longer going to use, we want to stay on solar. Most state governors, let's say, I know of some state governors that are now on solar power. They've exited the national grid. You get?
Yeah.
They exited the national grid. Now, what has been the issue? The issue has been, we have three sectors. We have the generating sector, we have the transmission, and have the discos. They generate, we cannot be, as a country, Nigeria, we cannot be operating on 3,000, 4,000 megawatts. It's too poor. It's too poor. And then you have the Genco saying that, there has been talk that the Minister of Power some days back said that the government can no longer subsidize power. So what he's saying is that we should even expect more increase in bills.
Interesting.
You get? So the issue there is that what is the issue? That's what we should ask ourselves. Because even if they give the Band A, okay, we are going to compensate them for how long? Most times when they come, they just bring a short-term solution to us, and then we embrace and we are happy. When we are done, that they now hit us with another thing.
Nullifies whatever it is.
They might even take what they've given to us in the next line of action.
Exactly.
You get? So we should not focus on those things. What is the issue? Do we need to build more solar plants? Is this thing sustainable? If Aso Villa, where the president says we can no longer work with the national grid, we are working with solar, then I think there is an issue. There's an issue. It could be from the Gencos, those that generate the power, the transmission line. The government owns the transmission, but Gencos and Discos are owned by private individuals.
Okay.
So it is the Genco that generates it, it gives to transmission. Transmission now distribute, they give it to Discos. Discos will now distribute it to households. You get? So we have equipment that are bad. So even if the generating sector generates 5,000 megawatts, 6,000 megawatts, the transmitting sector might not be able to absorb. And once you generate it, you don't use it, it becomes a waste.
Yes.
You spend more money and you are getting less because the equipment you have are not actually okay to take on what you are generating. And then the discos are getting less, and then they distribute what they have.
I understand that. So the solution now is tending towards, having solar plants. I think it's a way to go.
The whole country?
Well, there are
individuals, private individuals right
You
now
know how-
that operate their electricity systems in their houses, basically totally depending on their solar.
Have you
plants.
considered the plight of ordinary Nigerians?
That is where the government comes in.
Yes, it's by providing power for them.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
where the government comes
What
in.
they should do, what they should do is take up responsibilities and put more money into the power sector. Let it work. You can't say because you are having issues you want to run away from it. They should make it work.
But it has not worked for the longest.
It has not worked because they are finding alternatives that suits them.
Okay.
If they put the people into considerations, they are going to put money there. They will resolve this issue.
Let's just leave it at that, hoping that the government does what they should do.
Of course, every Nigerian or every economy can be more productive with good power,
Supply in place. And let's wrap it up on the newspaper review with the sports extra from Punch here. Says Allianz dream Arokadare desires Kane partnership amidst Bayern rumors. We have World Relays Chinese Embassy replies inconsistent AFN. On page 6, and that is on page 2. On page 6 here it says Osimhen nears Turkish League glory. And page 5 here says battle-handed Gunners visits champions. On page 3 here it says Barca Madrid face-off in potential title decider. And then here also on page 6 here it says Reno welcomes Ikorodu City for NPFL title party. On page 4 here it says Chelsea initiates contacts to sign Leo. And on page 4 here, ex-Wolves tells Conhar to snub United. Page 2 here, very laughable. Fans want small doctor versus portable both. And on page 2 here says Collins ends Swantex Italian. And then Anambra leads in. Okay, that is on the other side of the news. Okay, this is sports. Stories this morning. What can you say about the news?
I think
making the rounds.
The biggest one there is Barcelona versus Madrid. Remember the first leg, Barcelona defeated Madrid at Santiago Bernabeu 4-0. Now this is La Liga. They've met 3 times this season. Barcelona, Madrid. They met in La Liga. Barcelona defeated them 4-0. Barcelona won 4-0. They met in the Super Cup. Barcelona won, I think, 5-2. They met at Copa del Rey. Barcelona still won 3-2. So now they have this one, and you just have 4 points in between them with 4 more games to go. So if the thing is, if Barcelona gets to win today, it will be 7 points advantage to them. But if they get to lose, it's going to be 1 point, which is going to make it more tougher for Barcelona to win. Remember, they exit the Champions League on Tuesday. Yeah. So they will want to capitalize on that and say, we cannot lose La Liga. But Madrid too, Madrid has not won the trophy this season. Barcelona has 2 already. Oh. So it's going to be a very tough game. It's a classic.
Between Madrid
I'm going to see so many actions.
Okay, let's just go on a short break. We will be back with the wrap-up of the news paper review. Please don't go anywhere. Welcome back. If you are just tuning in, this is Global Morning, coming to you from the nation's capital, Abuja. We have just wrapped up. We have been trying to analyze the newspaper review for today, and before we went on that break, we talked about the sports news. And it has been an interesting conversation with my guest this morning, Timothy Baba. We have talked about a lot. We, at this point, we want to call it a day. We wrap up the newspaper review. Remember, this is Global TV, and we have lots and lots of interesting programs packed up for you today. Please don't forget to tune in from time to time to check what we have for you on the Global Morning. This morning, we call it a day. Thank you so much, Timothy Baba. Any last words from you before you just go, please?
Today is Mother's Day.
Okay.
Let's celebrate mothers.
Yeah, today is Mother's Day.
Wish
a mother a happy Mother's Day. Give someone a call. It doesn't matter how many times of the year we get to celebrate mothers. They're worth celebrating, okay? So reach out to a mother you know and wish them a happy Mother's Day. Okay, so this is it on Global Morning this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for joining us. We call it a day. Thank you.
Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure. If you don't say we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rate as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle, the ASU strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.